Why is there so many people that don't like Millie Bobby Brown? She seems kind, she seems funny, she seems just like a genuine sweetheart. But there's quite a lot of people that believe that Millie Bobby Brown is actually disingenuous. Or disingenuine. One of them. But with her large following on social media, it's clear that a lot of people simply love Millie Bobby Brown. So where does the hate for Millie Bobby Brown actually come from? Is Millie Bobby Brown actually false? Is Millie Bobby Brown disingenuous? Or disingenuine? Or is it just simply the case that some people are just jealous of the fame this young woman has been able to gain? And the answer to those questions is, I really don't know. And I think it's fair to say, depending on the individual, we probably all know that fame can come with a little bit of a curse. Has Millie Bobby Brown potentially gotten too big for her boots? Is she actually not the person we all see on TV or in interviews? It's very hard to tell. Let's be honest, it's very hard to tell. And one argument I see swirling around online is that Millie Bobby Brown is simply overhyped. And in my humble opinion, I think Millie Bobby Brown is slightly overhyped. I've recently watched Damsel, and I'm not going to lie, the girl seems sweet and all. In my view, this is my honest opinion. The girl seems lovely. She seems sweet. She seems kind. She seems funny. But I don't think she's a particularly great actress. Now, I know some people will be thinking, what are you talking about? She's a great actress. Those people might just be potentially letting their love for her as a person take over every aspect of her. Or you might actually think she's a good actress, to which case, fair play. But for me, that's the first thing I think about Millie Bobby Brown, is that she probably is a bit overhyped when I think about it. A lot of other things I see online as well is that people just genuinely think Molly? There's no Molly. Basically, some people just think Millie Bobby Brown is annoying. And this comes from the fact that people just actually watch her on telly and they just look at her and think, I don't like how she does this. I don't like how she conducts herself. I don't like the way she talks. I don't like kind of how she answers questions or whatnot. And that, for me, I think that's more your issue, not hers. I wouldn't say when I'm watching her she does anything that particularly annoys me. I know it's different for everyone. But in my view, Millie Bobby Brown isn't actually annoying. I think she seems quite, down to earth. I think another big issue, like I mentioned at the start of the video, that people have with Millie Bobby Brown is how fast she rose to fame. And I know a lot of people might be bitter about that. And I'm going to use the word bitter on that one as well. I think that bitterness kind of clogs the mind at times and makes people have a negative view. Because if you've got in your mind instantly, I don't like this person because of this and this and that, you've all of a sudden automatically got a negative view of that person. But yes, it's fair to say she did rise to success very, very quickly, and Millie Bobby Brown has become a global superstar overnight, in a figure of speaking. Another thing with Millie Bobby Brown that a lot of people are saying in the general public is that they believe Millie Bobby Brown is obnoxious. They refer to the fact that when she does interviews at times, it almost appears like she's not actually listening to what's being said to her at times from the interviewer. She's kind of just in her own little world, almost shrugging off the other person at the other end of the table. But having watched many Millie Bobby Brown interviews, I don't actually get that vibe from her. I get the fact that, I suppose I'd have to watch them back again just to kind of analyse and understand, but when I'm watching Millie Bobby Brown in interviews, I actually get the thought that she's actually quite engaged with the person who's talking to her. But I might watch them back and I might think differently. Not to mention the fact that there's a lot of people who think Millie Bobby Brown has changed since Stranger Things in terms of her personality and the way she conducts herself. Now, I haven't actually seen any old interviews with Millie Bobby Brown from the first 2 seasons, say, of Stranger Things. I have seen quite a lot of interviews recently over the past year or so of Millie Bobby Brown when she's talking. I'd imagine she does conduct herself differently. I'd imagine she does present herself differently and talk differently because she's older for a start. Now, the question has to be, does natural ageing have anything to do with the way she conducts herself? Does natural ageing and maturity have anything to do with the way she speaks now and the way she conducts herself now compared to back then? And I would argue that yes, I think it does have a big part. Now, there's one thing that I will say myself with confidence, and this is my opinion. I think Millie Bobby Brown is a very attractive young woman. She's a very pretty, beautiful young woman. And it helps that she's a beautiful young woman who has made a big name for herself. And is it fair to say that these two things combined is also another reason why people are envious of her? Forget the fact that she's done well for herself and she's now a household name and she's very famous. She's also a very beautiful young woman to go with it. And has Millie Bobby Brown grown cocky since becoming successful? I think that's another one. Has she grown a bit arrogant since becoming a big superstar? When I watch her, I don't get that impression. I don't know about you guys, but I don't get that impression of Millie Bobby Brown. When I'm watching Millie Bobby Brown in interviews, or if I'm watching her talking, or when I see her, you know, doing sit-down interviews, or, you know, well, whatever it might be, I don't sense that arrogance from her. I have seen arrogant people. I know arrogant people. I know people who have a high opinion of themselves. I've seen it, you know, in life. I've seen it on telly. And I don't think Millie Bobby Brown comes under that bracket. I've never, ever once thought to myself that Millie Bobby Brown thinks she's better, you know, or more lucrative than anybody else. But just because you've got a negative opinion about someone doesn't make it a fact either, guys. Just because I've got a positive opinion of her doesn't make it factual that she's a lovely woman. And if you think someone's bad or you don't like someone, have a genuine reason. Perhaps you've seen something online and you know it's factual. Don't just kind of jump to the conclusion that someone's a bad person or someone's an annoying person or you don't like this person for whatever reason it might be. Not necessarily a bad person, because we're not saying she's a bad person, but don't jump to the negative conclusion straight away just because you've seen a couple of bad interviews or something, or a couple of things during an interview that you think, I don't like that. That might be her coping. That might be her coping mechanisms during interviews. She might kind of have this thing where she doesn't like to make eye contact with the interviewer, or she doesn't like to answer questions in a certain way because she's uncomfortable. I don't know. You know, I might be clutching at straws here, but, you know, some of the things that we say about Millie Bobby Brown that we don't like, they might just be nothing. They might be nothing at all. It might be nothing at all, and that might just be her way of coping with certain situations in life. Perhaps she's not being rude. Perhaps she's just coping in her own way. We don't know, you know. It's the same why we shouldn't just jump to the conclusion that someone's automatically the best person on the planet, because, you know, they might not be either, you know. You've always got to be careful when you're judging people, is what I'm saying, you know. Always going with the assumption, always going with the natural assumption that they are a nice person. And then make your conclusions later on to whether they are really a nice person or not. Is who we see on telly the real Millie Bobby Brown? Basically, guys, have your say on this video. Guys, put your comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this video. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, is what I meant to say. But yeah, guys, have your say. Is Millie Bobby Brown genuine? Is she not? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, guys. Until the next video, I will see you very, very shortly. Goodbye from me. And I will see you soon.